So we'll start off with our typical highlights. So as you can tell, for a lot of us now, the rain has already started at this point, and really we're going to expect periods of rain beginning already and persisting today into the day Friday. Generally, showers today will increase in coverage, especially overnight, and primarily the first half of tomorrow, because rain will start to come to an end from west to east by tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. There are a chance for a few thunderstorms Friday, but we're not looking at a risk for any severe thunderstorms, and primarily it's just going to be a rainfall event. And we're not expecting any significant flooding issues with the amount of rainfall we're looking at, though a few waterways could reach bank full and approach minor flood, and we'll talk about that in a little more detail in a minute. And the weekend, we're looking mostly dry, though a few showers will be possible for portions of the area as we get into late Sunday, and we'll talk about that a little bit more too. So currently, as you can see, especially for the western third half of the area, we do have a pretty good area of showers out there, and we can expect off and on scattered showers today as we continue in this weather pattern. If you look on the right, we actually have high pressure over the mid-Atlantic and northeast and a little bit of a wedge down into the area right now, which is why it's so cool and showery. As we get into tonight, this system off to our west across the Texas-Louisiana border region will continue pushing into our area and increase those rain chances further. Taking a look at the general expected trends as we get into the rest of today and into tonight, you can see, especially for the western parts of the area, showers through the day and then really increasing in coverage as we get into tonight as that system moves into the area. So as far as that looks for rain chances and temperatures, today is going to be cool out there, 40s across the north and 50s elsewhere. And as you can see, rain chances really increase as we get into tonight, generally 80 to 100% across much of the area as we get into the overnight hours. The good news is we're not dealing with any wintry precip with this. Temperatures, while in the upper 30s in northeast Georgia, will remain a good bit above freezing, so we don't have those concerns to deal with. Tomorrow, the best chance of the thunderstorms, I just kind of threw in this orange line here. That's where the best risk of a few thunderstorms will be along and south of that line. But again, we're not looking at a risk of severe thunderstorms with this tomorrow. If we go on to the next slide, you can see that the rain will be pretty widespread through the first half of the day tomorrow, especially in the morning to midday time frame. And as we get into the afternoon to evening hours, that system will clear the area to the east, and we'll see a drying and some clearing trend by the latter part of the day. But during the first part of the day, that's when we're looking at pretty widespread rain and a few embedded thunderstorms as well. When all is said and done with this, by the time we get to tomorrow night, we're looking at pretty widespread rainfall totals in excess of an inch, up to an inch and a half across North Georgia, and lesser amounts as you head down into central Georgia, more on the order of a half inch or less for those areas. Locally, higher amounts can be expected again, especially up in the mountains where you could see some 2+ inch rainfall totals. With that being said, we're not anticipating widespread significant flooding issues with this system, though a few streams and rivers could approach the minor flood stage threshold. If we look at that in a little more detail here with our hydrologic summary, this shows the current conditions along rivers as well as the forecast for some of our more significant river gauges. And as you can see, at the moment we only have one gauge within our area down here in central Georgia, Abbeville, that's still in minor flood. And if you look at the larger squares and the forecast with the oncoming rainfall, we do have a few sites like Alpharetta, which you might expect, in Penfield and Millstead, that are forecast to get up to that action stage, bank full. So that will push up the waterways, but we're not looking at widespread flooding issues, but a few could approach or sneak right to that minor threshold. As far as the forecast after this weekend system, it is a relatively quiet forecast period. Taking a look at a few cities, generally temperatures will be seasonal, around normal to maybe slightly below normal for the first half of the weekend, and then moderating as we get into next week to a little bit above normal. Again, most of the weekend looks dry, but if you take a look at some of the rain chances, especially for areas Atlanta and southward for Sunday late in the day and into Sunday night, there is a slight chance to about a 30% chance of some light showers, but we're not looking at a big washout with that event. And then it looks like the next more significant shower system will come in as we head into like Wednesday, midweek of next week. So all in all, it's looking relatively quiet as we head into the extended portion of the forecast. And as we go a little bit later, just a broad overview with the 6 to 10 day outlook. Generally, as we get into that January 28th to February 1st time frame, it favors above normal temperatures during that time frame, and as you saw, we're kind of moderating temperatures into next week, and that looks like it will continue a bit, and just a continued risk for some rainfall and perhaps a little bit of above normal rainfall potential during that time frame as well. So just to summarize it all up, we're in a little bit of a wet period right now through tomorrow afternoon before things dry out. I'm not expecting severe weather with this, perhaps a few thunderstorms tomorrow, and not expecting widespread significant flooding either, though a few waterways could reach that bank full status. And looking pretty quiet with just a couple of opportunities for showers as we head into late weekend. So that's what I have for us right now. At this point, if you have any questions, this is the time to chat them to me or ask me.